Okay, we play a little game of If You Only Knew.
Great.
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Any Jim Carrey movie.
Person you trade places with for a day.
The Pope?
You're a Jewish kid.
I'm a Catholic kid who has Jewish blood, but
What do you mean?
I think what's going on
One
out there...
parent is Jewish and one is Catholic?
No, they're both Catholic. I had a Jewish grandmother who converted to Catholicism, so I have Ashkenazic blood. But yes...
to be the Pope? It's good to be the Pope.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience, I think, being in charge of sort of millions and millions of people.
Actor you're dying to work with.
Bill Murray.
The movie that made you want to make movies.
Raising Arizona.
Mark's greatest creative talent.
Producing genius.
Childhood celebrity crush.
Meg Ryan, When Harry Met Sally.
What never fails to make you laugh.
Jim Carrey.
Why isn't he doing more?
I think Jim's in an interesting place where, he's an incredible combination. He's like one of the most thoughtful, spiritual people on the planet, and he's also a total buffoon. And I think he hasn't exactly figured out, I think he's trying to integrate those.
We were in a bathtub on the Letterman show together, sipping champagne in a bathtub.
That makes me laugh. I told you, Jim Carrey makes me laugh.
What was
now
the moment,
you do.
What was the moment you realized you'd made it?
I made it when I made my first $3 short film and it got into Sundance. That was more than I ever dreamed I would ever accomplish in my life, is to have a theater full of 700 people laughing and crying at a little movie I made.
What are you bad at?
Being tough.
If you could speak to an animal, what animal would you choose?
I like dolphins. They're kind of cool.
Yeah, well, they're smart.
They can speak, yeah.
What keeps you up at night?
Any sound in the world.
Any sound?
Any sound.
My wife calls me. New York.
Yeah. Oh, when I lived in New York for 3 years, it was a nightmare. My wife calls me the Princess and the Pea. I need everything to be just so that I can sleep.
The door closes.
The door closes. Somebody walks by outside. Yeah.
Well, how about when you had children and they were growing up?
It was a nightmare. I didn't sleep.
You're a light sleeper.
I'm a light sleeper.
Something you long believed to be true and realized wasn't.
That your soulmate will complete you.
That's not true, right?
It's not true.
So your wife is not your soulmate.
She's my soulmate, but she doesn't complete me. It's too much pressure. It's too much pressure on her for me to need everything from her. It took me a while to figure that out.
So you thought that was coming, though? You would have.
Yeah. And the first couple of years, you feel that because you're just full on in love. It's like all you need. But then when you get older and you have a more complicated life, you need other people. It's too much pressure on her for me to need everything from her.
Do your children, are they theatrical?
My children, it's very interesting because everyone says they must be so precocious, but my children are kids. They're immature. They're not super precocious. They're not big performers. They have a lot of personality, I will say that.
Do they see your work?
They don't see my work, but I did have a weird moment. They are now coming into the knowledge that I am a public person and that's not normal, per se. We did have a moment where my daughter was in the back of the car and I was driving and a bus pulled up and my face was on the bus because of transparent. And she looked at the bus and she looked at me and she looked at the bus and she looked at me and she goes, "Dad!" And you could see the wheels turning. Like, my daddy's face is on a bus. We haven't, but she finds it fairly unremarkable, which I think is great.
No, they don't know any other life.
They don't know any other life, yeah.
Watch new episodes of Larry King Now Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on demand on Aura TV and Hulu.